to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. Thursday, March 20th, the Fantasy Footballers. Jason Moore, Mike Wright, Andy Holloway back with you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for being with us all year round as we enjoy the emotional roller coaster that is fantasy football.
Thank you for being better than your league mates, for being competitive and loving fantasy football.
Yeah, and you know, we said it on the last episode, the draft is right. I mean, it's right around the corner.
It really is.
And
that's wild.
It's exciting. It's fun. Today we have it should be a good show. We're doing some liar on the show today, which is always a really good time.
We're playing some games.
Yeah, we're playing some games today. Kyle the Borgogan put together the liar. Just got us some two truths and a lie. We'll try to figure that out on the fly. I have no idea what that segment's going to entail.
We are we're recording a bit early because the kids are on spring break. This is like field day.
Oh yeah,
this is like this is
comp.
Field day for us.
Yeah,
because we're all getting ready to go on to our spring break. But we got to get a show out for everybody. So when school's like field day,
yeah, no, that's good.
we don't have anything to teach.
Yeah.
Let's just make them run around.
Yeah.
Or if you're in Arizona, water day. That was the best.
Like the reason I thought of that is because my son is has field day today.
Yeah.
And he is furious because they had removed all the water stuff.
Come on, man.
Which, it works
out
out how cold it is today.
Well, when they planned it, they didn't realize that
Yeah.
we were going to have this weird cold vortex come into Arizona.
At our school, Jason, I'm sure you did the same thing. It was leaky can races.
Oh, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Over the head?
Over the head.
Yeah.
And I'm getting nods from the solo deucer back there in Deucer's Alley.
We did those as well. It was a good time.
It was like it's full-on Double Dare stuff.
Yeah. That's fun times. All right, field day for the footballers going on. Today we got a giveaway. Keep the party rolling. FootClanGiveaway.com. Signed Drake London jersey. Go to FootClanGiveaway.com to enter for free. The draft kit at UltimateDraftKit.com. But let's go ahead and let's play.
I want to play a game.
All right, we're going to play some Who Am I? I'm going to give you clues one at a time. They'll become less helpful to more helpful in the clue department. If you think you know the answer, let me know.
Okay.
But keep it quiet so people at home could play along. A little bit of Who Am I?
Keep it on the low.
Yeah, keep it on the low. All right, clue number one. I have finished.
I know who it is.
Oh, boy. Well, take your guess, Mike. That's it. You're locked.
I wrote it down.
No, I have finished as a top 12 fantasy running back one time.
Okay, we got a running back.
In my 6-year career.
6 years.
And it was not 2024.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So one-timer, 6 years. Now, so he's going into year 7?
I have finished as a top 12 fantasy running back one time in my 6-year career. It was not 2024. So I assume neither of you are locking in on that.
No.
Nope.
Clue number 2. In 2024, I had more receptions than Saquon Barkley, Kyron Williams, and James Cook, even though I played in fewer games than each of them. So
year 7?
So in this past year,
going into year 7.
So the clues here, in the past year, wasn't a top 12 fantasy running back, but has been. And also in 2024 did have more receptions than Saquon, Kyron, and James Cook.
He's on a second contract, missed games.
You're putting Jason's doing the mental exercises. Nobody locked in.
I have a guess.
I don't yet.
But you're not locking.
No, I'm not locking.
Okay.
That's not enough clues.
You're not going for a clue 2 lock.
Whew, that's too spicy.
That's big points.
All right.
Do I get big points?
Of
I'll lock.
course.
I will lock the heck out of this.
Of course you get big points.
I am locked. Big points. Big points.
Doesn't know what points are. Doesn't know how many to win, but gets big points.
There's only one.
So you're locked.
There's not even like rounds to this. So stupid.
No, I like your. So you're locked.
But if you lock first before Mike and you get it right, you win.
Okay.
That is
I'm just
true.
saying,
Yeah.
I am 100% locked.
Okay.
I reserve the right to change my mind.
That is.
He's locked, but he has the key.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Look, I locked it.
I locked it. I can unlock it.
All right, clue number 3.
There's a button. You push it, just wipes the board.
Yeah, you do have one of those little. What do they call those?
Digiboard?
Boogie boards.
Oh, boogie.
Clue 3. 2024 was my first season below 200 rushing attempts, below 800 rushing yards,
Ooh.
and I had 240 fewer rushing yards than the year prior.
I don't like that.
Does that not fit with your lock?
Say it one more time for the people.
Yeah, in 2024, it was my first season below 200 rushing attempts, below 800 rushing yards, and I had 240 fewer rushing yards than the year before.
Wow.
I have my name down.
That really, really, really.
Unlock.
I'm unlocked.
You're unlocked.
I am unlocked.
Well, who were you locking? I don't think it's bad to share.
I was thinking Tony Pollard.
Okay.
His second contract, missed a couple games.
That's the name I just wrote down.
But I don't know that he's been over 200 carries his whole career. I feel like he was an efficiency guy.
I think it's good to have people hear you.
2024 was my first season below. Oh, yeah, then it can't be him.
Yeah,
but I do have another.
You heard above. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kyle apparently had been guessing Tony Pollard on his side.
Okay.
Tony Pollard is not the answer.
No.
So, for those of you at home.
After rereading Clue 3, it was very obvious it was not Tony Pollard.
So, one top 12 finish in a 6-year career.
Okay.
More receptions last year than Barkley, Kyren, and James Cook. Not combined, but each of them individually. But played less games than them.
Okay.
And fewer than 200 rushing attempts last year, below 800 rushing yards, and 240 fewer rushing yards than the prior year.
I'm locked.
Oh, you're locked.
No.
I'm locked.
Okay.
Oh, that's still pretty big points.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
good.
not big points, but
no, but that's
You do have a slight deduction for locking and unlocking, though.
Thank you,
yeah.
Judge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike, you're not locked?
No.
Okay. Clue number 4. I still managed. This one's gonna make it easier. I still managed to score 12 rushing touchdowns in 2024. Jason is.
Do I have it?
If you're on the YouTube, you can see some initials on the board.
From what I can see, it looks like BM.
Yeah, good healthy bowel movement.
It's not BM, but the initials are DM.
Okay, and that's what you're going with?
That's who he's in a lock.
I'm locked.
Doug Martin.
Which those at home, I mean, if you're still playing along, you know what DM stands for.
Dungeon Master. Yes,
Thank
we
you.
all
Yes.
know.
Mike, are you you want the last
I
clue?
want the last clue.
Last clue is my show nickname got used when I had more opportunities.
Yes.
Yes, the answer is DeMarco Murray. No, it's David Montgomery, which, sometimes it's fun to see it laid out that way because, to look at last year and say it's his first year, fewer than 200 rushing attempts, below 800 rushing yards. He got hurt.
The one thing that surprised me the most was actually that David Montgomery has only been an RB1 once. That was the hesitation I had of.
That threw me off.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Let's see where he actually.
He did it in year 2 when he put up 1,070 on the ground.
Wow, and then he's really
and caught 54 passes, and then he was fringe in 2023. He was RB13.
That was the thing is, he was just one spot after. It's surprising that a guy can have 13 rushing touchdowns and not crack the top 12.
Yeah. Yeah. What is your general sentiment around DM next year, around David Montgomery, where I think a lot of people believe that, this is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs' peak seasons.
Montgomery is pretty bullish on David Montgomery being a value in drafts. We see this from time to time. Like we saw it with Alvin Kamara in back-to-back years where you're playing awesome. You're having an excellent year. For fantasy, you're gold. And then you miss the most important part of the playoffs. The end of the season comes around, you let me down, and you're older. So now everyone is scared like it's just going to go away. The Detroit Lions are, even if David Montgomery gets a little less and Jahmyr Gibbs gets a little more, which totally can see that happening, this is not a team that's going to say, David, you're out. Like, they gave him a contract
How old
extension.
do you think he is? Do you already know the answer?
I don't know. I would guess just under 28.
Yeah, right around 28.
Yeah, he's 27.8.
Yeah.
Wow.
3 years left on the contract.
Yeah, 3 years left on the contract.
So value
he's got
for
money.
fantasy. Yeah.
He's great for the team. He's excellent around the goal line. So will he be a top 12 running back next year? No. Will he be a value for wherever he's drafted? Absolutely. Barring injury, I don't see a world where, 28-year-old David Montgomery behind that offensive line disappoints and doesn't get opportunities next year. Yeah,
it's interesting. He had the reception stat there, right, where he was, despite playing 14 games.
That was a little. I mean, yes, that's cool.
He had 36 last year.
That was what I was going to say. It's not like he had a ton of receptions. They picked out guys who had great fantasy seasons with surprisingly few receptions.
Yeah, tried to trick you.
Yeah, like Saquon being the number one running back had.
It is a game.
Right. That I won.
You did. Yeah,
yeah, you did. You got some points. And, yeah, Monty.
Because of unlocking. just letting you know, in normal game show format, when you smash the button, you give your answer.
Yeah, if you had locked Tony Pollard, you would have been the first wrong guy.
Yeah, I didn't. I unlocked.
You did. You play the game the
Win
way
by any means necessary.
Now, what about the 14 games in 2 consecutive years? Is that a concern?
I don't think it's a concern. He's built for a workload. I mean, you can argue that's a pretty good amount of games for running backs to finish in consecutive seasons.
Yeah, you expect to miss 1 to 2 a year.
Also, he tore his ACL and was done for his career, and then played in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Was it an ACL injury?
No. Well, it was a fear of whatever it was.
Yeah, it was
meniscus.
They were going to shut him down for the year.
Yeah, and then he got like 17 doctor opinions until he got the one that's like, no, you're good, bro. He
just had to keep going down. Eventually, we went to Bob. He's on 5th Street. Yeah, he cleared me. We're good to go. You can
find a doctor on Instagram Reels, I think.
He just kept going doctor on demand refresh. Yeah. What do you think about this picture? No? Okay,
no.
Next one. Refresh. What do you think about this?
All right, let's go ahead and we'll take an early break, and then we'll jump into Liar Liar. All right, look, I wasn't participating in the last game. I was just, walking you two through it. Jason, dominant victory, and but I'm playing along in this one, so let's do it.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
All right, so Beboppy, you got that Spitballers. Apparently, this is the 6th time we've played Liar, Liar. Kyle has put this entire Liar, Liar segment together today. How many rounds are we doing? 3 rounds?
3 rounds. That is correct.
3 rounds. Kyle, is he on the microphone? People can hear him?
Yes, sir.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Round 1, titled Dubious Distinctions.
Dubious.
So the way this works is I'm going to read 3 supposed facts. 2 of them are absolutely true. One of them is absolutely a Kyle manufactured lie.
I hope he manufactures lies better than Owl on the Spitballers, because I have watched my dogs not be in the direction of north and south when they poop. That was not a fact. Anyways.
Okay. That's a deep cut. Here's stat number 1, or fact number 1.
I think that's your dog problem.
It's both of them. So he's my dogs, okay? It's not a fact.
What was the concept was that dogs always poop
dogs
facing.
Have a strong preference for aligning their bodies along a north-south axis when defecating.
So strong
that
preference.
Was not it was not worded strong preference.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. No?
Yeah, I have no idea how I worded it.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't worded like that. It should have been.
And Jason's contention was that they do not.
They do not always, which is how the word
improves.
Yeah,
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, you look it up.
I'll be honest.
I will
I'll let you know what I put in the doc.
Yeah, I know.
If you spun a human
keeps me up at
around,
night.
if you spun a human around in a circle a bunch of times and then let them go, and had
Poop?
them and had them yes. Well, I mean, eventually, like, and you have them naturally choose which direction they would sit to go to the bathroom. Would humans do the same thing?
I would sit forward on the toilet each time.
No, there's a hole in the ground in this situation.
No, there's no. I would not look at the sun and be like, "I'd like the sun on my back."
Yeah, I'd be barfing in the hole.
All right, we are getting away from this game. All right, round one.
Dubious.
3 supposed facts here. Will Levis has more starts with 3 or more turnovers in his career than starts with 2 or more passing touchdowns.
Oh, that one seems good.
That one seems definitely.
Wait, say that one more time. I didn't
plausible.
follow that.
More starts with 3 or more turnovers.
Okay.
Than starts with 2 or more passing touchdowns.
Holy moly!
That seems very plausible. Fact number 2, James Conner has 34 rushes that have gained 10-plus yards, 4th most among all running backs, and none of them resulted in a touchdown.
That feels so true. I mean, that guy breaks.
I mean, he had
chunk
multiple
plays every time, and he's never broken away in his life.
Yeah, I was going to say there's multiple times I thought he was going to score, and he didn't. I know that. And the third fact / maybe lie, Jaylen Warren is known as a valuable receiving back. Through 3 seasons and 604 routes run, he has never gotten closer to the end zone than the opponent's 4-yard line after a reception.
I know he did not have any receiving touchdowns this last year, but I don't know if that's being used against us here.
Yeah.
I feel like if I know Kyle, he would want to amplify your somewhat unsubstantiated hatred of Jaylen Warren.
Oh, I was thinking you were going like the Will Levis one. The Will Levis one to me seems like one of those where, because we know he turns the ball over a lot and we love, making fun of Bananarama, that you would just amplify the bad and we'll just accept it as true. But you think that
I think he wants to keep you with the necessary ammo to dislike Jaylen Warren, who will probably be the starting running back next year and probably a good pick.
I want this said really clearly because this is a fact. I think Jaylen Warren is an excellent football player, and if he is the guy next year, I am all in on Jaylen Warren.
Okay.
My dislike of Jaylen Warren was
10 points per game.
While he was the backup to Najee, he wasn't good for fantasy.
I think the Will Levis stat is the lie. I'm going to lock that in, and we'll take turns being the first person to lock.
Okay.
But I'm going to be
3's a lot.
I think that Will Levis stat is a misdirection by Kyle. And I'm going to lock that one in as the lie. I think the Connor one's true. I think the Warren one's true.
I'm very happy you locked in the Will Levis because I could see it going that way. I'm going to lock in the Jaylen Warren because he's been such a good receiving back. But if he has not gotten to the goal line ever or even closer than the 4-yard line, it would be surprising. Seems like a great find if that is true.
Mike, it's decision time.
Do we play the game?
Oh, because you're saying if we could all make it, one of us will make it through. I wouldn't play the game. I'd try to get it right.
All right. Well, it's us versus Kyle, which is it's an important thing that we win.
But he's remote. We can just hang up on him.
I'm gonna go with the Warren one.
All right, 2 votes for Warren. My choice was Will Levis. Kyle, are you going to be the one revealing here, or Al, or
I'll let Kyle do the honors.
What's the actual lie here?
The lie is Will Levis. He has 3 games with 3 turnovers. You were right on, Andy.
Okay. All right. So I'm alive.
Andy's in the lead.
I'm alive. Kyle is getting us ready for round 2, which he has titled Certifiably Insane Statistics. Here we go. I'm sure this is going to get bad. Kyle takes a lot of pride in this stuff. Stat number 1, Cardinals tight end Trey McBride is a certifiable beast.
That's fact.
Part's next question.
You can't have a half lie.
Right. He recorded the most receptions ever for any tight end over their final 8 games played in a season.
That
possible.
That feels possible because it started slow for Trey McBride because the Cardinals are being buffoons. So that one, man, yeah, that one feels plausible.
Number 2, Brock Bowers finished as the tight end 1 with a rookie record of 112 receptions. That's true. Yet he gained the fewest fantasy points of any top 10 tight end on plays inside the 10-yard line since the George W. Bush administration ended.
Kyle, how convoluted does a stat have to be?
This one's pretty convoluted and true, I bet. I bet that one's true.
The fewest fantasy, but not
how many times do you work the George Bush administration into a show?
It's not the Bush one. It's just
the time.
It's fun to call back to. You're like, hey, we haven't seen this since Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, it is. It is a fun thing to say.
Now, this is I thought at first that this was the fewest fantasy points of any of those tight end 1s, but this has the fewest fantasy points of any top 10 tight end.
Inside the 10.
Right. Inside the 10. I'm just thinking it doesn't take much to be a top 10 tight end. Did he really do that?
He didn't score a lot, but you would think that McBride had fewer than Bowers because McBride didn't score.
Well,
much.
McBride scored 2 touchdowns inside the 10 that were not receiving.
Yeah, so 3
rushing
total,
and
so
fumble
3 total,
recovery.
Yeah. Bowers had what, like 5 touchdowns?
I have no idea right now.
All right, the third stat here, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is the only player in NFL history to total 9 receiving touchdowns in a season that all occurred within one time zone.
Oh, my God, Kyle, you're so stupid.
So when you say certifiably insane stats,
yeah,
I interpreted that as like these stats will blow you away.
Right.
I think the key word here is insane.
Yeah.
An insane person would find these stats.
That's the key. Yeah, you're right on.
Only player in NFL history.
And you're going, that
would be Central Time Zone.
And Tennessee is Tennessee in Central?
Nashville is Central.
Yeah, I mean,
how would you know this?
Also,
what database do you go to compare? Like, I get that you could look at, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine and say, oh, look, all of his were in one time zone. But now, how do you compare that to all of NFL history? You got a time zone reference guide?
And what cocktail of drugs did you combine to develop these stats?
Guys, I'm stuck on Tennessee is in Central.
What do you think? They were EST?
I'm looking at a map of the United States, and where the middle line is,
it's a split.
And Tennessee is very clearly not in the middle.
Oh, so Tennessee is half Eastern, half Central.
Wait, half their state is on one?
That happens. It's okay.
No, that's not okay. That's dumb. You're like, over here is 2 o'clock. Over here is 1 o'clock.
I mean, you do that anywhere. You do it literally wherever it changes, whether it's a state line or in the middle.
But I have to go across a border.
I don't.
There's people who check and make sure that I'm not bringing in fresh produce.
Only in California.
Is it only California?
I don't know, but
they don't check the produce in Tennessee on this line, though.
That's absurd. Kentucky?
Well, yeah, I was going to say Kentucky you're going to have a problem with.
The Panhandle down in Florida.
A little bit of Florida.
Y'all need to get it together. What is happening?
Mike has strong opinions. Mike Scripes.
Because look how it curves. So look at the Yoop of Michigan. Is that what they call
they're
it?
listening on a podcast. Nobody can look at anything you're saying.
I know what you're saying, but also it's a globe. So while we're looking at a flat map, it's not really.
Not Mike doesn't believe that.
Look, Kyrie makes some good points. I was going to say. But Michigan's curving over Wisconsin, and so you can go north and be in a different time zone. This is absurd.
Back to the
absurdity notwithstanding.
This is man.
Well, these are insane stats, Mike. So insane seems to be
ridiculous.
Now the 3 stats, just to remind people: Trey McBride records the most receptions ever for a tight end over the final 8 games. Brock Bowers, fewest fantasy points of any top 10 tight end on plays inside the 10 since the Bush administration.
When about was that?
09?
It ended in
09.
08, yeah. No, I guess 09, yeah. And then the Westbrook-Ikhine is the Central Time Zone. I feel like, what's worse, that Kyle does know the Central Time Zone stat or that he made it up?
The problem is you can't make up a lie. Like, couldn't it accidentally be true if he can't vet it? You know what I mean?
You can't prove me wrong.
Yes,
so
any
it's
lie
true.
could technically accidentally be right. until you vet it.
I'm gonna take the Brock Bowers one. The top 10 line feels like there's got to be tight ends that snuck in that did less than Brock Bowers.
I'm with
since
you.
the Bush
I'm gonna
administration.
Go Bowers. I'm going Bowers.
I like the Trey McBride one. That one feels the most true. I'm going the Westbrook-Akine one.
Okay.
For principle.
All right, Kyle, reveal.
The Westbrook-Akine is a complete lie. He caught touchdowns in multiple times.
Oh, that's how you know it's a. Because he. Oh, dadgummit.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying. Like, was it 9 at home? Were all his touchdowns in home games?
That's what I was thinking about that.
In hindsight, it was so clearly
unlock.
It was so clearly that one because you can't vet this. There's no way to know this.
Kyle vets stuff. Kyle figures out ways to figure this out.
Oh my god!
You got AI now.
So absurd.
I'm back, baby.
Kyle, I love you. You are so stupid. You are such.
Oh man,
it's gonna get worse because he just revealed the third round, and it's about me apparently.
Andyisms. Let's
that's
go.
Fun.
Great. Kyle always surprised. Didn't he do a liar where he figured out the amount of feet it would take to walk to the Cardinal Stadium or something like that?
Passing. It was like Ryan Fitzpatrick's passing yards.
Had
or
the
something
exact
like that.
same number of feet.
Look, I'm going to volunteer somebody else to read these ones. I'm not reading about my own
All right.
mistakes on the show.
Since 2021, Andy endured 3 separate tooth-related injuries, yet he missed fewer Footballers episodes due to tooth-related injuries than episodes Deucers exited mid-show to go poop. Okay, 3 different tooth injuries, missed fewer episodes than Deucers pooping.
Deucers deucing.
All right.
Interesting.
Possible fact number 2. Since losing in the League of Record championship game to Owl, Andy, remember you did that, Andy has mentioned baseball on a higher percentage of Footballers episodes than Anthony Richardson's career completion percentage.
So we're talking
that means
like
a little
40-something%.
Yeah.
Is he down at 44?
He's probably around 50.
It was about half.
50.6.
Okay, thank you.
Man.
All right.
So
and
just over half.
Yeah. And the final possible truth, Andy has said the phrase, pack your things, to employees in the Fantasy Footballer Slack channel fewer times than the number of rushing touchdowns Taysom Hill has had in his career, 33. Taysom Hill has had 33 rushing touchdowns.
I think I've fired people more than that.
You have to have fired
people. Fake fired people.
You guys are just not at all surprised that Taysom Hill has 33 rushing touchdowns?
He's had a long career.
It does feel like every year's the same for Taysom Hill, which like his career is infinite. 33 does.
Are you saying
seem...
maybe that's the lie?
No, that part.
Taysom Hill only has.
That part can't be the lie.
Yeah,
that part can't be made up.
That was blowing my mind.
Yeah, don't tell Kyle what he can't do with his lies.
So I think I've said pack your things more than that. I would say
you mentioning baseball on more than 50% of shows seems like, I know we bring it up, but that I don't think you mention it on more than half.
No, and I don't remember missing shows with my teeth. I remember flipping spots and sitting where Mike was sitting.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed a show with a tooth.
Medusa's poop so much.
I've never pooped mid-show.
That's true. It's the 2 that are missing right now.
Oh, where could they be?
In Deucer's Alley. And to be fair, we did verify before the show that one of them was literally pooping while, I mean, he was on the Zoom, but he's pooping. Like, come on.
He's zooping.
Zooping. Nice.
You ever take a good zoop?
Oh, man. I feel like that's going to hurt my enjoyment of soups at the Olive Garden now. I'm a big Zuppa Toscana fan, and now I got a new imagery that I don't want to deal with there.
My bad.
But he doesn't get the Zuppa trophy?
No, he's not here.
He should.
All right, so it's a tooth one, baseball versus Anthony Richardson, or firing people versus Taysom Hill. Rushing touchdown.
This says since I lost the championship game. We've recorded a lot of shows since then. There's no way I'm over 50% on baseball. I'm going to say that one's a lie.
I think that's the lie
While
as well.
I wear my baseball cap.
That doesn't count. All right. I'm going to lock that one in as well. I don't think you mentioned baseball more than half.
That does mean, Mike, if you change and you get it right, you would win.
Yeah, Jason, you can't win then.
Well, he can't win anyways.
No, he could.
Hasn't he gotten it wrong twice?
Yeah, but
he could. Oh, we could get it wrong and he could tie it.
I will lock in last.
It's too late. You're already.
No, I'm unlocked. I had the key, brother.
No, that key was for a different game. It's a different shape.
I'm a locksmith. I'm a third-generation locksmith.
He's got all right. What are your guys?
So you locked in baseball, Andy?
Yeah, I locked in.
What are you going, Mike?
I'm going the. Has said it fewer than 33. I'm going to go with the pack your things.
I'm clearly going with the tooth-related injuries. No way is that the.
All right, Kyle, reveal your stupidity.
It's baseball. You've only referenced it 8 times.
Oh, that's not bad. I could work a few more in there.
That's about, I would say 7 too many. I'll give like 1 out of 50 episodes.
I've only referenced it 11 times, is what it looks like. Oh, wait, in 3 episodes. I've said pack your things 28 times to employees. I feel like it's really dropped off. That used to be like a go-to.
But it wasn't always slack. It's really, if you added the verbal, which we can't track, I mean, it's got to be in the hundreds.
Apparently, I was the first one you said it to.
So, that makes sense.
And somebody, and you didn't listen.
Probably the most frequent as well.
Probably.
I only missed 1 episode with tooth-related injuries, apparently.
Impressive.
That's good. All right, we'll do some.
That's more than I've missed for teeth.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I haven't missed any for teeth either. now that you put it that way,
everybody
Mike.
can knock.
Which I'm at 0 teeth injuries.
Yeah.
Tooth injuries? Teeth injuries.
Teeth injuries.
Yeah, but I don't think I think we've had to stop the show for each of you to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yes.
For sure, but that was not what this was about.
Yeah. I'm trying
to
distract. All right, we'll take a break. We'll do some mailbag. Does that mean I won that game?
It does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you got 2.
I think Kyle won because nobody got all 3.
Yeah, that's go ahead and hang up on him.
Yeah, mute his microphone.
Pack your things, Kyle.
Mailbag.
Field day.
Yeah. Oh, field day.
Yeah. It's a little loose.
This episode is brought to you by Enjoyment.
All right, mailbag questions. We're going to answer them. If you have a question, you can go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. Click the submit a question button or dial the voicemail hotline 302-464-TFFB. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Do we have I see.
Do we have what?
I see a voicemail question.
That's the one.
Okay.
Funky Dan from Kentucky. What it do? Jason, how'd you enjoy Kentucky for Valentine's Day? Was the weather great? Are you moving here soon? And what do we think about George Kittle this year? Is he going to be a top 3 tight end with all the moves 49ers are making? Or does he fall off the relevant tight end list?
First of all, that's Funky Dan from Kentucky.
What up, Funky Dan?
What's up?
And he wants to know, because you went there for Valentine's Day to do a little bourbon
we did.
distillery.
We went on a 3 distillery tour. I learned how little I knew about the bourbon making process. It was a great time. The weather was not great. Little sloshy and rainy, but it was fun.
Didn't you get stuck in Kentucky?
We did get stuck in Kentucky. The airport couldn't de-ice their planes because there was a cold front, and so we won't be moving there. I had a great time, but I will never be back.
What's Kentucky like in a couple of words?
Bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Whiskey.
Okay.
Finn. Full stop.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Also,
which is awesome. It was just every place we went, every restaurant, every building, every store is just all about that bourbon. That Louisville is made for bourbon and college football. I think that's it.
How do people get anything done?
College basketball. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
College sports. But George Kittle?
Yeah, concerns?
No concerns.
Feeling pretty good about Kittle right now.
What the 49ers are doing right now should be very exciting for fantasy football purposes. Like, this is what we want. We want the Cincinnati Bengals of last year. We want a team that can be a high-powered, potent offense, and then that defense sucks, so they have to keep playing. Like, that's been a huge problem with the 49ers, is their offenses have always been strong, but then their defenses are strong or stronger.
Well, and a big problem with George Kittle is he's had to compete with Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
He's had to compete with Brandon Ayuk. Now he is like, he might be the primary target, and if he's not, he's going to be high in the pecking order, coming off of a great season with a bad defense, and he's not going to be the number 1 tight end drafted. There's no world where no world where he's drafted above Trey McBride or Brock Bowers. So he is at best going to be the tight end 3 off the board.
As much as I'd love to disparage the 49ers because the offseason is giving us the storyline of a bunch of stars departing, which is true, they're going to be fine.
Yeah. They will not. I mean, I brought this up on the last episode. Their odds for
they're the even right now. I mean, I've checked. They're the 6th highest Super Bowl winner odds in the NFL. So Jason had brought up that they're the favorites out of the West, but they're the 6th highest odds to win the Super Bowl post free agency. So
yeah, I'm looking back at Shanahan's career with the 49ers. I mean, it started a little bit bumpy. Then they got all the players in. They go to what was that the Super Bowl year? Because they were the NFC champions in 2019.
Yeah, they've had some bad seasons too.
And then after that, then it was a 6-win team, double digits for 3 years, then down to the 6 years.
But doesn't that surprise you that the Vegas odds haven't changed to move them lower? With all this ground, I mean, they were last in the division for what it's worth. They're like definitely the highest odds of last to first of any team.
I would say it does surprise me, but there is also they know what they're doing of taking people's money.
Sure.
You're like, yeah, sure. The 49ers they're super favorites, guys. Get in on this action. Thank you for your money. So I don't know how much the house does that type of a thing.
Yeah.
But that's what it feels like to me. Dude, how is it not the Rams?
Are you a bourbon guy, Al? Do you like bourbon?
No.
So, Mike, do you enjoy old fashioned?
I don't know. I
or like
an
a straight whiskey.
I like it in Coca-Cola, but I'm sure that the bourbon people will find that unacceptable.
I feel a great deal of pressure to like bourbon.
Me too. Especially, I hang out with Jason a lot, and he loves the bourbon, but I just can't get behind it.
And you and I are sipping White Russians,
vodka, tequila, rum, any of that's fine. I'm not a bourbon guy.
Yeah, I've tried.
Yeah, no,
I've had good bourbon.
Yeah, to each their own. It is not everyone's jam. Just like
my wife loves it.
I can't stand IPAs.
Oh, brother.
Exactly.
So bitter.
Mike's gripes and IPAs fit together perfectly. All right. We got a question from Tigertron on X.
Tigertron?
Yeah, D-Tigertron. Hello, ballers. Is Ashton Jeanty a generational talent? This is a good question. I am such an Amari and Hampton fan that I have felt this like hot take temptation to go and rank him ahead of Jeanty at times. You know, there's the question marks around Jeanty have to do with, you know, where he played and the competition he faced. But would I say he's yes, I would answer the question.
Oh,
yes.
all right.
I would say he's a generational talent. Yeah.
So generational talent obviously means or should mean it comes, you know, once in a generation. He is the landmark prospect. You know, and by generation, I'm not talking like human generation, but like little short eras,
couple years.
Yeah, NFL football. You know, you had the Peyton Manning, you had the Andrew Luck, you know, and then it was supposed to be Trevor Lawrence, but you know, it wasn't. And so when I look at how I view recent prospects, you know, I saw Bijan as a better prospect than Ashton Jeanty. Bigger body, better competition. There are a few words, and obviously Ashton Jeanty is my 101 and across all positions for running backs and for all other positions for rookies. I think he is going to succeed, have great draft capital, be a very great fantasy player. But as far as whether he stacks up where Saquon was when Saquon was coming out,
I think Saquon was a better prospect.
Oh yeah,
but I think Bijan is I would put him in the same tier as Bijan. I would put him probably slightly at or above Jonathan Taylor. and just the fact that he's got the potential to be a top 6 pick. I mean,
I really wish. I know it's silly, but because he played at Boise State, because he played there, I wish he tested at the combine. It just gives me a little bit of fears because he doesn't need to. If I was his agent, I would tell him, "Don't you dare." There's nowhere to go but down.
Is he doing a pro day?
I'm sure he'll do a pro day at some point, yeah. But I want to see, the official 40 time there, because he's a little bit more undersized than usually. Like the premium guys that are taken first, at the running back position each year are usually 220 pounds, or up there. He's a little bit smaller, and if it was okay because he's running a 4.3, I just feel a little better.
I just feel like we're so like I'm just going to take what he did at face value for the most part.
2,600 rushing yards, 29 rushing touchdowns last year. Obviously, he's great.
There's been some premier running backs that were discounted due to smaller school narratives. David Johnson's one of them. Who, obviously, we see a 3rd-round pick for Arizona.
He was, yeah.
Out of Northern Iowa. That became an elite fantasy option. Aaron Jones was a smaller school guy.
And, Andy, to your point of, like, you like Hampton so much that it's possible that, like, if Hampton has a better career than Jeanty, that's not going to be surprising to me. I think that's what we're talking about. If Ashton Jeanty is incredible, but I don't see him generational talent. And going back, I mean, the generational running backs who became that weren't even necessarily the first ones drafted. Like Christian McCaffrey is a generational running back. He was drafted behind Leonard Fournette.
I mean, that draft class, he was still top 10. That
yes,
draft class
he was.
Had 3 guys that you were wondering if they were.
But they went Leonard Fournette ahead of him. This one's an interesting conversation. It was Ezekiel Elliott, a generational running back.
He was, yes.
Okay, because he was
when he was coming out as a prospect, he had 0 possible flaws. He was.
That's where you look at, like, the reason I'm not going to move Hampton above, even though his outcome could end up better team situation or something, and he could be the more productive fantasy running back or the better player. Totally possible. Love him. I don't think it's possible for Jeanty to fail with what the draft capital is going to be. And his skill set, is he going to end up Barry Sanders? No, probably not. But I don't think it's possible for him to not be productive. I mean, even if he was Leonard Fournette, like Fournette was still a productive fantasy running back. Thank you.
I brought up Zeke because Zeke was the 4th overall pick by the Cowboys. And in that year, in the 2nd round, was Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, now
you
that's
look at
a
those
generational
2 careers,
mayhem.
it's a better career. That's for sure. All right. Wow. Instagram from Nick Welsh asks the question: Breece Hall or the 101 rookie pick?
That's Jeanty.
That's a pretty easy
one.
I
could trade Breece Hall right now for the 101, I have Breece Hall. It's an open offer. Open offer. I believe the person with the 101 is listening on the Zoom.
On the bathroom.
No, Josh has it.
Matt manages Josh.
He said
team.
no. He's already said no.
All right.
No. You don't get to steal that bit, Jeremy. That is Kyle manages your team.
He does. And Matt manages Josh's team.
It's already been turned down. Amazing.
Yeah. But if you could,
Jeanty's a top 5 dynasty running back.
If you could get the 101 rookie pick for Breece Hall, I would do it without hesitation.
Would you do it for Bijan?
No, okay. I would keep that's great because I've got Bijan and Breece.
I don't think I'd trade the 101.
I would not,
or trade Bijan for the 101.
No,
but I don't think it's that far away.
No. I mean, and it could be the wrong decision. It's not such an obvious I could regret not giving up Bijan for the 101, but Bijan is proven on an NFL field. He's awesome.
Are you mentally putting Jeanty in Las Vegas right now?
No. I'm not at all. I mean, with the way that running back goes, I think there's 4 or 5 teams he could go to.
All righty, let's go to Andy Rue 156 on Instagram. Want to change from redraft to dynasty, but everybody loves draft day for redraft. Any thoughts? Yes, I have some thoughts.
I wonder if we have the same thought.
Do a keeper league.
That's the same thought.
Yeah, do a keeper league.
It is the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I get this. I I love draft day. Draft day is the pinnacle, most favorite day of the year. So, and you do lose that with a move to Dynasty because the rookie draft is not draft day.
No, the rookie draft usually is offline. You're not even getting together, and it's it's just not as exciting. You spend the whole off season for fantasy football talking about the draft, talking about values, finding the guys you like, avoiding the landmines. It's part of the fun. It's why we're listening and talking on the show. And our main league of record, our primary league, is a keeper league with a keeper lottery to ensure the reason we have it that way, the reason we have this randomized lottery, like we basically pick in our league, we pick our best player and we get to keep him no matter what. And then we pick 3 other players from a different position, and whichever ones are our best, whoever we want, but we're going to lose one randomly, like out of a hat. And
keep 2, lose 3, kind of like 2 truths and a lie.
And
lose 1.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Lose 3.
That doesn't make sense.
And the entire reason we did it.
Cut that.
The entire reason we did that was because we still wanted the draft day to matter. We wanted Jamar Chase to fall back into drafts. We wanted that first round to still be exciting and powerful. And so it really is the best of both worlds. I mean, I know who you guys' teams are starting out with. It feels kind of dynasty in that way. Back in the day,
and we let people trade. Just for the record, like we have a keeper deadline at the NFL draft, so you have the entire offseason. If you want to execute, dynasty style trades, you have from the time that keepers are declared and figured out through the keeper lottery, all the way through kickoff, to trade keepers and picks. So you don't lose some of that flexibility. We open up pick trading right away.
Yeah, it's so much fun year round. And there are things like a dynasty league, which I will never forgive Mike for his death grip on Antonio Brown during the heyday. You had him for whatever that 4, 5, 6 year stretch was of dominance.
Oh my gosh!
And no one could get him from you. And it was just like I associate Antonio Brown with you.
It was incredible.
And so you get that, but the draft day is the best day of the year.
Here's a good follow-up question on Instagram from C. Gable. Can you explain how your fantasy league divisions are set up and how that works? In our league of record, we have 3 divisions with 4 teams each, and you play your division mates 2 times. So we actually start the season, your first 3 matchups are against your division mates, and your last 3 matchups in the regular season are against division mates, with the middle an assortment of one-off matchups with everybody else. That's how we've done it since the beginning. It builds rivalries. It makes the end of the season a very just higher stakes.
Division winner automatically makes the playoff. Then it's
best.
Then it's the next best 3
wild
records.
Card. Okay. Mike, maybe this is a good question for you as we come to the end of the show. Steve Sutton, 40. If healthy come draft time, will CMC end up a top 3 pick?
Top 3 pick? No.
Because that would be...
People won't be willing. It'll be Jamar,
Bijan,
Saquon. Like that's...
Gibbs and Bijan will be dancing around
there. I don't think people will steam
top 5?
McCaffrey.
Right
at 5, at 5 makes sense. It's going to be... Christian McCaffrey is going to be one of the hardest draft picks, and I totally understand it, but he's a guy that in the middle of the first that can literally win your league for you. So it will be very difficult.
One final reminder, head over to get the lowest price possible on the Ultimate Draft Kit so that you can dominate on draft day, get yourself prepped up, and get access for the longest amount of time possible. The actual UDK releases June 1st. There's pre-order pricing right now, so you get a discount at ultimatedraftkit.com, and if you get the UDK Plus, you'll get instant access to the completely available, completely ready-to-rumble Dynasty Pass, and you can check that out. Next Tuesday, we're going through the biggest free agency winners and losers. We'll also catch up on any news that we missed by pre-recording a little bit, and next Thursday, regress or impress. We'll talk through some more names.
Before you hit that outro button, I was just wanting to look up the Universal Best Ball ADP right now, because I was curious about how high Christian McCaffrey would go. Christian McCaffrey, consensus across all best ball platforms, is right now the 14th player off the board. Second rounder.
He would be a very top target for me in best ball.
In the second round for sure.
Because what he represents is a title.
Yep.
Or sadness.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.